Hello, and welcome to another Angry Unit of the Week. And today we're taking a look at the ISU-122, available to the 184th Strelocki Division. In December of 1943, the ISU would be put into production. It was a rather simple hull design, as it was essentially just an IS-2 with a superstructure on top to be used as a tank destroyer slash assault gun platform. These were originally meant to be armed with 152mm howitzers, the ML-20S, and these would be the ISU-152. But the problem is, during early production however, is that they started to run out of those 152mm howitzers, and so they had a bunch of unbuilt hulls that only needed the gun to finish the job. And so the Soviets decided, hey, we have a bunch of 122mm guns sitting around. Why don't we put these in the tanks? And so they did, and that's how the ISU-122 would enter service. It'd pretty much fill in the exact same role as the 152, being used as an assault gun and tank destroyer. In terms of tank destroy capabilities, it was a bit better in the 152 due to how the gun was, but a little bit worse in terms of high explosive capabilities, just because it's not as big of a gun. But they would make over 1,000 of these vehicle types all the way till the end of the Second World War, Great Patriotic War in this case. In-game, the ISU-122 is a 120-point tank destroyer, available exclusively to the 184th Strelocki Division, and it has two weapons. So for weaponry, it has the big A19 cannon with 12 armor penetration shots and 18 high explosive shots. It's a pretty good gun, 200mm of penetration, 9 damage on penetration, 45% accuracy, 2km range, and only 3 rounds a minute. Pretty much, when this gun hits something, especially an armored vehicle, it will die. It will die rather quickly and a big explosive death, just due to the damage of the penetration and also the high penetration of the gun to begin with. And also, the high explosive cells are actually pretty decent. They do 3 high explosive damage, which is pretty good for a tank or tank destroyer. In this case, this is a very useful anti-infantry weapon to have on the field. And you also have a pretty decent amount of ammunition. 12 AP and 18 HE is not that bad for a gun of this caliber. And if anything gets a little bit too close, you got a discount with 240 rounds. In terms of armor layout, you got 125mm in frontal armor, strong top armor, 85mm on the side, and 75mm on the back. And if we pop down to the miscellaneous stats, it goes 25km off-road, 40km on the road, very bad stealth, and low optics capability. In battle, the ISU-122 is definitely a tank destroyer to be feared, and rightfully so. Its gun will make short work out of any German catch that you come up against, whether it's Tigers, Panthers, heck, even King Tigers or even the Lukes. You can easily kill them with the 200mm penetration and 9 damage on penetration with the big arse gun. And it's also pretty decent in the infantry support role. The 3HE cannon is pretty decent. The only downside though of the gun is its rather low fire rate of only 3 rounds a minute. So it does take a long time to get a follow-up shot. And that can, they can usually get 2 shots in, I find, before you can get 1 shot in during a reload, which is a little bit of a shame. But fortunately you have pretty good frontal armor. 125mm is good. It's not great per se, as those heavy fat cats can penetrate you, and heck, even Panzer IVs and Stugs and Pak 40 guns that getting close can also penetrate you as well. So you can use this as an open field frontline tank, but I wouldn't really recommend it, just due to the fact you don't have that much armor. This isn't like an IS-2 which has 160mm of armor where it can just sit here and take shots. No, you have a pretty good chance of actually dying if you keep it on an open field. It does have more ammunition in an IS-2, especially when it comes to AP capabilities, which is pretty damn good, because the annoying thing about IS-2s is you always have to keep bringing up supply trucks to resupply its AP ammunition, because it doesn't really carry a lot. And how we use the ISU-122, you should really use it defensively. It's not a great offensive weapon. You can make it work, because it's still a big gun on a decent armor, and not having a turret isn't all out big of a deal in SC2, especially if you're staying in more open areas, but also because how the 184th plays, and they're really, really slow. It's an infantry division, and it's also one of the few Soviet divisions that doesn't have any T-34s in them. You got Valentines and a few M3 Lees, so this is really your most capable armoured vehicle in said division, and so you're really just going to be using infantry to push up slowly, and you have this in the back, and maybe some Valentine Mark 9s and AT guns and artillery supporting you. It's a very defensive weapon. You want to use it defensively. And yeah, it's an ISU-122. It's a big screw you gun on a big screw you chassis. It's a tank destroyer IS-2. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty big, pretty powerful. And well, I'm going to leave it off. Yeah, this has been another Rang Rouge unit of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as usual, please just take it easy.